If you want to know the secrets of existence and the true meaning of life, I can't help you. But if you want some book recommendations, why not try reading the ones I wrote? If you're a fan of giant monster mayhem and anime weirdness, why not try Operation Red Dragon: The Daikaiju Wars Part 1? If horror is more your style, you can't go wrong with The Occult Mafia. Those who enjoy their fantasy with a dark twist may be interested in Emerald of Maddox City. And if you're interested in shared universes, why not read all three? Hop on down to the description for links to all three books on Amazon. Enjoy whichever ones you read, and enjoy the video. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the Omni viewer, and it seems that the world-shattering news we've been told would come along and completely change everything when it was announced has gone completely unnoticed by most people. Recently, the government confirmed two things. First, that they have been studying UFOs for several years now, only they refer to them as UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena, which when you put it next to unidentified flying objects, it's basically the same thing. I don't know why they bothered coming up with a different acronym. And second, that they don't know what these UFOs/UAPs are. All they know is that they are not craft that America has made, nor are they craft that any other known world power has made. Because if they are technological, then it's technology well beyond what anyone on Earth is capable of. Now, I grew up in the X-Files generation. I've watched UFO documentaries made from way, way back right up until just now, and they have all said that when it finally was revealed, if it ever was finally revealed, that alien life was out there in the cosmos, that would change everything. The world would never be the same. They said it would affect politics, religion, day-to-day life. Everything would be different. But since the government came out with this announcement, nobody seems to really care all that much. And heck, most of the places you'll see reporting on it still aren't really doing so in a very serious tone. You get reports about this stuff on late-night comedy shows, which hardly anyone watches anymore. And you get this sort of stuff on the mainstream news, but when it does pop up there, they're still sure to cue the X-Files theme and do it a little bit less seriously than they would report on something else. It feels like nothing has really changed, even with this admittance that the government has secretly been studying UFOs all this time, and they still don't know what they are. Why is that? It seems weird to have something so potentially life-altering go by with a complete lack of interest from most people. I've heard various explanations as to what it might be. There are some who believe that perhaps the whole thing is just a grand hoax meant to try distracting us from something. Which, if that's the case, clearly it hasn't worked, because, like I said, nobody seems to care. I've also heard people say that the modern generation just doesn't care about that sort of thing. People in the modern day are all about finding inner truth, and finding the truth out there just isn't as interesting to them anymore. I've heard all sorts of explanations, but I have my own take on it. And maybe someone else has had this take as well, I'm not sure, but this is just the way I see it. I'm pretty certain that the reason nobody's really reacting to this news that UFOs exist and we don't know what they are is because that's not really an answer. Think about it. There are objects in the sky that we're not sure what they are. The government's been studying them in secret. No surprise, the government's keeping secrets. They've been doing that since there have been governments. What new information is really there? There isn't really much. The government basically just said, we don't know what these are. What can you do with that? Quite frankly, I could have told you that much, because I've seen UFOs. I've actually seen quite a few UFOs in my time. It's weird, when it comes to paranormal phenomena, I'm more interested in cryptids, but I've never actually seen one. But UFOs, I just happened to look up at the right time, and there they are. Now, I don't know what they are. Only one of them, I would say, looked like a flying saucer. as in a metallic, artificial, disc-shaped craft. But I still don't know exactly what that thing was. The rest, lights, objects in the distance, I don't know. I can only tell you that I couldn't identify them. Some of them I saw with my dad. My dad works in aviation. He knows how aircraft move, what aircraft are capable of. He saw these things. He couldn't identify them either. So that confirms to me that they weren't just normal aerial objects. And as a result, it's no surprise to me that UFOs would be confirmed to exist because I've seen them with my own two eyes. There's no surprise there for me. But I still don't know what they are. Just because I've seen them doesn't mean I can't identify them. That's what the U in UFO stands for. It's unidentified. The government has finally stepped forward and said that these things are unidentifiable. And my response to that would be to go, and? What else have you got? You clearly have nothing. And therefore, that's not an answer. Now, let's just say hypothetically that the government had instead come out with an answer, something akin to, we've been studying UFOs since 1947 when we got that disc that crashed in Roswell. Oh, by the way, the Roswell crash actually was a flying saucer and not a weather balloon. We've been lying about that this whole time. And it actually came from Mars, which is still occupied by intelligent beings. That's an answer. I mean, I'm just throwing that out there as a potential, but that would be the sort of answer that would get people's attention, because that's not just saying there are things we don't know what they are. That's saying there are aliens. And of course, people usually associate UFO with alien these days anyway, because that's one of the more popular explanations. Technically, we don't know for certain. UFOs being alien ships seems to make the most sense from a scientific standpoint, but they could also be interdimensional beings, which is far more improbable, but still an option. There's also a popular theory that UFOs might be angels and or demons, which would therefore confirm the existence of heaven and hell if that turned out to be true. Or heck, maybe it's some kind of animal, a really weird animal that lives in the sky, and for some reason takes on forms that look like flying saucers for some reason. Whatever the answer might be, there wasn't one actually provided by the government explanation. So, who cares in the long run? Then again, I've also seen UFO documentaries and read UFO books that say people have been surveyed and they wouldn't be the least bit surprised if it did turn out that UFOs were alien ships, or that aliens had been visiting us for a long time. So maybe those things really were accurate after all, because it looks like nobody's really surprised now. But again, what can you be surprised by when there's literally nothing there? There's nothing to actually sink your teeth into. Also, when you get right down to it, there's bigger stuff happening in the world that's affecting our lives right now, in the moment. Stuff that's very down to earth and that we need to address. And like I said, there are some people who wonder if maybe the whole UFO announcement was meant to somehow distract us, maybe from those things or maybe from something else. We can't actually confirm that at the moment, but like I said, it's not working because there's nothing really there to distract us with. You can't really get someone's attention by jingling keys in their face when there aren't any keys. So I think that might explain why people are looking at this and going, good job, Uncle Sam, you finally caught up with the rest of us in figuring out that we don't know what these things in the sky actually are. Now tell you what, we're going to put our attention on these other things that are affecting us, some of which you have a direct involvement in, and you can get back to us on those UFOs if they either land and give us a cure for cancer or start blowing up our monuments. Until then, just let them be. They're clearly not bothering us, they're not affecting our lives, so just let them fly around and do whatever. Now, I'm sure there are many quote-unquote conspiracy theorists and ufologists out there who are feeling certainly vindicated at this point, saying, hey, look, see, the government has been studying UFOs in secret. We told you, didn't we? Maybe now you'll listen to us? But other than that, they don't really have much else to say either. they're still left speculating just like the rest of us. All we know for certain now is that UFOs truly are unidentified. And that's it. Again, until one of them lands or starts attacking, and until the point where we actually get confirmation as to what they really are, we really are no closer to the truth than we were. Well, that's really all I can say about it, because there's not that much else to go on. Well, maybe there is one more thing to say. What we've been saying from the very beginning. Always watch the skies. Who knows? Maybe we will get our answer sooner than we think. But for now, there is no answer, so there's nothing else to say. Until such time as we meet again, this is the Omni Viewer signing off. If you enjoyed what you just saw, hop on down to the description for links to Patreon, DeviantArt, and all of our social media, as well as links for Operation Red Dragon, The Daikaiju Wars Part 1, The Occult Mafia, and Emerald of Maddox City, 3 original novels I think you'll really enjoy. Thank you all, and we appreciate your support.